I'm going to do in 20 minutes what you guys just had 55 to do. So I will apologize, it's going fast. That's also why we're recording. I will try to explain a little bit as to why we're doing everything. Remember that you tested what you just like this. We have decided after first period that we're going to take number 6 off of the test. So that one you don't need to stress about. So our first one, determining the unknowns. These we've been doing all year, guys. All we're doing is saying, how do I go from here to here? So 6 to 30, I go times 5. So what am I doing with 5? Multiplying by 5. So I know that x equals 25. My second one, again, the key is always saying, how am I going from what I know to what I don't know? Here's what I don't know, so I'm now going this way. So 9 to 90, I'm going times 10, so I go 2 times 10, and I know that x equals 20. That's a 0. If I'm doing a single term, all I'm doing is combining. So I've got 2 partial terms with the coefficients that are different. In order to add fractional pieces, I need a common denominator, meaning I multiply this one by 5, this one by 3. That's going to give me 10/15 x plus 12/15 x. Once I have my common denominator, now I add my numerators. So that gives me 22/15, which I can simplify to make 1 and 7/15. You don't turn it into a decimal. You just use whatever remainder as your new numerator. When I'm multiplying, all I'm doing is I'm multiplying the fraction pieces. So 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 5 is 15. 2/15 x. Our next one, we're rewriting using the product of the constant and the sum, coefficient of 1. In other words, we're basically doing reverse distributive property on this, guys. So I'm saying, okay, I'm going to make that 2x. I need to make it 1x, meaning I need to divide both pieces by 2. So in order to show that as distributive property, I'm multiplying both pieces by pulling out 1/2 and putting that 2 on the outside. So that makes it 2x plus 2 and 5/10. You can always double check. Put it back out. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 2.5 is 5. I got back where I wanted. So that was my answer. On this one, my coefficient is 1/2. So I got to pull the 1/2 out. Meaning, dividing by 1/2 is multiplying by 2. So multiplying both those by 2 gives me 1/2 times 6/5, or 1 and 1/5. So it should be 1/2 times x plus 1 and 1/5. Because half of x would be half x. So I distribute this back out. Half of 6/5 would be 6/10, which would simplify to 3/5. Our next one, we're rewriting each one by applying the distributive property. That's what we just do the arrows, guys. So 3.5 times 2x is going to give me 7x. 3.5 times 1 gives me 3 and 5/10. Our next one, now we're multiplying the 1/2 by each of the pieces. So 1/2 of 3 gives me 1 and 5/10. Half of 4 is 2. So 1/2 minus 2a. Number 6, they've given us our conversion factors. And now we're going to determine the conversion. So to determine the conversions, we just say, start with your conversion factor, 1 inch, 2 and 5,400 centimeters, equals, I know it's 6 inches. I want to know how many centimeters. How do I go 1 to 6? I multiply by 6, meaning I need to take my 2 5,400ths times 6, multiplying decimals. I just write how many I have, and then I multiply 254 by 6. It gives me 24, 32, 12, 15. Add my decimal back in, so that becomes 15 and 2,400 centimeters. Our next one, they said 1 mile is 1 and 6,100 kilometers, and I want it to be some number of miles over 10 kilometers. Do I know when I multiply 1.61 to get to 10? No? So if I don't know, then I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to divide 10 by 1 and 6,100. Let me go back up where I've got some room. So I divide 10 by 1 and 6,100. Can't have a decimal in my divisors, meaning I need to move it twice. So I move it twice on the inside as well. So now I can go 161 won't go into 100, going into 1,000. We'll go about 6 times. Gives me 6, 36, 39. So I multiply, subtract across, gives me a 4. 3, 4, I'm not at 0, so I've added decimal and bring in a 0. 340, that's going to go about twice. That's going to go 2, 12, 13. We're really close. I'm not going to go further than that. So it's about 6.2. So I multiply by 6.2, meaning it's about 6 and 2/10 miles. Number 6, we're going to skip. We're not going to do that one on the test. I'm not going to take time for the recording on that. If you want to talk about those, feel free to come in a seminar. 7, write a different division problem that has the same quotient. In other words, all we're saying is I need to get rid of decimals in my divisor. So how many decimals there are, that's how many times I'm going to move my decimal place. In this case, it's 3, meaning I need to move this one in 3. Any empty buckets get 0. So you write that as 36,500 divided by 5. That would be an equivalent 1. The next one, I only have 1 decimal in my divisor, so I'm moving it once, meaning I move this decimal once. So 631 and 9600 divided by 148. Did it ask what it equaled? No. All I had to do is rewrite it, guys. Don't make it harder than it is. Number 8. In planning for the upcoming regional girls tournament, they looked at her player statistics from the previous 2 months. Sarah, Sophie, and Grace are all given. Based on the records, which player should they choose to attend the tournament? So this is really just kind of a logic one, right? So if I've got 2 people that both won 7, but she only lost 3 and she lost 4, who should I send? Sarah or Gracie? Sarah. So I now know Sarah beat Gracie, so she's out. So now I can compare these ones. Sarah won 1 more match, but lost 1 less match. So who can I send? Sarah or Sophie? Sarah. Okay? And you can just use that thought process in your explanation. Sarah lost 1 less than Grace and Sophie. And one more than Sophie. So she should go. Everybody understand that one? You could mathematically work it out if you wanted to, but if all they're asking is an explanation, you can also just explain it with logic. Our next one, analyze each solution. Which solution correctly evaluates the expression? There's our question. Determine the error. So we also have to determine the error. So you can see we started at the same place, yes? So now we're just talking order of operations. What's the first thing I should do? Exponent. So she did the exponent first and got, oh, she didn't do the exponent first. She did the exponent first. She actually multiplied first, didn't she? Okay, so multiplied before exponent. There's your error. And we know solution A is correct. Have we done everything we were supposed to? We determined the error, and we said which one was correct. Everybody good on that one? Okay, go to the back page. Now we're going to solve each equation and check our solution. Solving is the easy part, guys. So that's where our circle and line comes in, right? The opposite of adding 2 6/10 is subtracting. Excuse me. Oh, yeah, I held it off. Subtracting 2 6/10. So subtract 6/10 comes 5. That would be 4 5/10. We can also check it. 2 6/10 plus 4 5/10 equals 7 1/10. Add those 2 together, and 6 7 1/10 equals 7 1/10. Check. Next one, here's my fraction, my decimal on this, or variable on this side. So I'm subtracting 3/4 from both sides. In order to do addition or subtraction with fractions, I need a common denominator. I have a 5 and 4, meaning it's going to go to 20. So that becomes 84 over 20, minus 15 over 20. I do that subtraction. 84 minus 15 is going to give me 769 over 20. Yeah, which I can simplify. It's going to go 3 times with 9 left over. So B equals 3 and 9/20. We can do our check. 3 and 9/20 plus 3/4 equals 21/5. They gave it to us in improper fractions, so I should make it easier. That's 69/20 plus 3/4, which I would make the 20th by going times 5. 15/20 equals 84 over 20, which I can divide both of those by 4. Gives me 21 over 20, or 21 over 5, sorry. So check. You see the same on both sides. Here's my variable. Opposite multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4. Those go away. X equals 7.5. Opposite of multiplying by 3/5 is dividing by 3/5 or multiplying by the reciprocal 5/3. So multiply both sides by 5/3. These all go away. This side, I'll turn that into an improper fraction. I have one reduction. 7 times 5 gives me 35. 1 times 1 is 1. So I know that X equals 35. We can do our check. 3/5 times 35 equals 21. And excuse me, put that over 1. Becomes a 1 and a 7. 7 times 3 gives me 21 equals 21. Check. Okay, our next one. Identify whether there's one solution, no solution, or infinite. Can I add 4.5 to a number and get that same number? No. So that one is a no solution. Did it say I had to explain why? No. Pay attention to your test directions. Make sure it all says that, but it should be the same. This one, I've got a variable, so I know I can multiply both sides by 4/3. These go away. We reduce them out. Put this over 1. I get a 1 and a 3. That means it's 12. So X equals 12. I have one solution. This one, I can combine those. That becomes 6x. 6x equals 6x. Doesn't matter what number I put in. No, it'll always be the same, right? So this is an infinite. So regardless of what number, it will always be the same. And last one, 0 times x equals 45. So I'm multiplying 0 times any number. What's that equal? 0. So is there any number I can put in there that will ever get it equal 45? No. This one is a no solution. Okay? Bob?
What's the numbers in negative?
We won't do any negatives here. But just for the record, it doesn't matter. Any 0 times any number is always going to be 0, whether it's positive or negative. Okay, graph the solution set for each inequality. Careful key things to focus in. Do I have that equal sign? That means the difference between an open and closed circle. So in this case, I know it's going to start at 6, and it is equal, so that's a closed circle. So that's the first thing you can do. The next thing you do is figure out which way it's going. X is greater than that. So again, this is where I always put a number in. Is 7 greater than or equal to 6? Yes, meaning I'm going this direction. Do not forget to color in your arrow. You don't color the arrow in, you've lost half credit on that. Okay? That's less than 14. Less than means it's an open circle, and it's not included in. Again, pick a number. Is 12 less than 14? Yes. So that means I'm going this direction. So I color that in. Do not forget to color your arrows. So we're going to have the importance of the circle and the arrows, because those are going to be major pieces of this problem. Okay, a builder requires a certain number of bricks each time he builds a brick structure. Make sure he has enough bricks. He always orders 50 additional bricks. Find variables for the quantities in the situation. Write in, and that'll be an expression. You're not actually going to do an equation. For the total number of bricks ordered. Oh, I see. So we want that. Okay. Suppose bricks calculated he needed 1,275. How many bricks did he order? So there's 3 parts to this question. First, I need to define the variables. Well, obviously, everything's about bricks, right? So I'm going to say B is the number of bricks. I've now defined my variable. I now, to write the expression for what I need to do, I know whenever I order, I'm going to order B, but I'm going to add 50 to it, correct? Okay. Now I can actually solve it. So if he did 1275, and I'm going to add 50 to his order, that means he's going to order 1,325 bricks. Our last two, use the properties of equality to write an equation that has the given solution. Identify which property of equality you use. So they gave you a solution, and they want you to write any equation you want to out of it. Did we change that one around? Okay. So this one will be a little more clear on your test, so there'll be a more defined answer. But for this purpose, all they're saying is, I'm going to write something. I'm going to say, for example, I'm going to say J plus 3 equals 6. If I put 3 in, is that going to be true? Oh, my apologies. So the last two, you'll have to watch the video to get the answer on that. Okay, so finish up the last 3. So we also had to say which property we would use to find the solution. And this one, because we added, we need to use the subtraction property of equality to actually solve it. Thank you.
And some menu.
Okay, cool.
I made it.
Oh, thank you. Follow up from Teacher Appreciation Week. Our second one, 80 will dump, so I'll just use a different operation. I'm going to say multiplying. So if I do something like 3m equals 24, and I put 8 in there, that would be 24 equals 24, so I would be correct. In order to solve it, I would use the division property of equality. So the bottom line on it is whatever operation you choose to use, the property to solve it is going to be the inverse. But again, we're going to change that one up a little bit on the test, but it'll be the same concept of understanding it. Our last one, write and solve an equation to determine each unknown measurement. The area of the triangle is 12 5/10 square feet, the height is 6. Determine the base. So that gets back to our formulas for a triangle. 1/2 equals base times the height. They gave us that it's 12 5/10 square feet. And we know that it's going to equal 1/2 times my 6 feet times my height. No, the base. We're finding the base. Excuse me, negative height. So we can do everything we can. So half of 6 gives me 3 feet times the base, meaning I'm going to divide both sides by 3 feet. Divide by 3 feet. These go away. So I need to do 12 5/10 divided by 3. It's going to go 4, subtract 12. Bring out my decimal, bring down to 5. That's going to go once. Subtract 3 gives me a 2. Still not a 0. That's going to give me a 6. 18. So I'm going to be in a repeating situation. Meaning that's going to go on forever. So really, we can say that the height equals 4 and 1600 repeating. Okay. Our next one is the area of a parallelogram. It's 74 8/10. The base is 22. Determine the height. So for our parallelogram, our base formula, area equals base times height. We gave the area 74 8/10 square feet. Equals the base, which is 22, times the height. So to solve for the height, I'm going to divide both sides by 22. These go away, so I just have h left on this side. So I'm going to need to do the math. Those 74 8/10 divided by 22. That's going to go 3 times. Gives me 66. So 8, bring down the 8. Don't bring up your decimal. That's going to go 4 times. Got down to 0. So in this case, it's 3 4/10. Don't forget your unit. Feet is the height. So guys, there is your test. Make sure you do your reviews and are prepared when you come in on Friday and Monday. Good luck, guys.